Hi, everybody. This is August 31st, 2023. It's been 354 days since I visited with my brother, Paul Kierans, who is 65, profoundly mentally disabled, and he resides at a group home operated by L'Arche. L'Arche is spelled L'Arche. So almost a year ago, L'Arche wrote my nun sister in Ontario and asked her to terminate Paul's visits with me. So I have, just by way of background, I have an 81-year-old sister who's been a nun since 1960 in North Bay, Ontario. And in 2021, in January of 2021, my brother's group home wrote her secretly and asked her to become the representative for my brother and gave her legal advice about how she could, what that would mean. So the then director of L'Arche wrote my sister. Her name is Margaret Mary Kierans, May Kierans. And she secretly agreed to be the administrator. And Paul has another sister in British Columbia and I who've been caring for him at our homes on weekends and holidays since 2004 when my mother died. So this morning, I spent the morning writing the Minister of Education in Ontario a letter explaining what happened. So when I applied to be my brother's, committee when L'Arche terminated his visits with me the first time, supposedly on the basis of a COVID-19 breakout in the group home. And they immediately restored the visits. And then when it was getting closer to the hearing date for me to become the committee, they wrote my sister and told her to terminate Paul's visits with me. Paul had visits with me scheduled for every Thursday, which would be today, from 4 to 5:15, and every Saturday at my home from 2 until 7. So I got a letter from my sister's lawyer in Ottawa terminating our visits. And when I went to visit with Paul, the group home leader, Celine, closed the door. So I applied to restore the visitation agreement that I had with government of BC through its Crown Corporation. This is all very complicated because they want to keep it that way so that they can lock up a 65-year-old innocent man for 354 days. So I applied to restore the visitation agreement, and my application was dismissed by Justice Sharma. And I appealed that right to the Supreme Court of Canada, and my application for leave to appeal was dismissed. But I keep on reapplying for reconsideration of that decision. But in the materials that my sister May Kierans, or Margaret Mary Kierans, filed, she said that I had not attended their convent school in North Bay, Ontario, and that I had attended a school in Sudbury, Ontario, and which is, would seem to be not very an important issue, but it was a lie because I did attend the convent school in North Bay, Ontario, and I resided there. So I knew what the other nuns thought about my sister and that nobody liked her. She was globally disliked by everybody. And in my experience, they always gave her her own apartment or house to live in because she couldn't get along with anybody. But anyway, so she said in her response to my application to be the committee of my brother that I had never gone to school in North Bay, Ontario with the Sisters of St. Joseph, and that I had attended a different school in Sudbury. And when I wrote what's called the General Superior. That's the head of the Sisters of St. Joseph of Sault Ste. Marie. And I said, well, I want my school records. She wrote me back, smugly saying, you'll have to apply to the Minister of Education for your school records. So among all the other, I've got 7, 8 binders of court documents here. I don't know if you can see it. Those black binders are the court documents, but most of them are documents I prepared. So I wrote a letter to a person named Stephen Lecce, who is the Minister of Education in Ontario, and complained that my sister had perjured herself by saying that I didn't attend the St. Joseph's College in North Bay, Ontario, and asking for the records. So this is how I spend my day, from 9 till 6 every day. I work on trying to restore my brother's freedom, and to be appointed to his committee. The hearing or the reasons for judgment are going to be delivered in less than a week on Wednesday, I believe it is. On Wednesday of next week, the judge who, Mr. Justice Basran, heard my application to be appointed Paul's committee. I'm quite certain I will not be appointed to the committee. He didn't even make provision for to restore my visits in the month since the hearing took place. So I have no doubt that I'm going to have to appeal his decision and apply to vary it. Anyway, so that's how I spent my my morning. The other good, I suppose, news is that I got an email from the BC Human Rights Tribunal has opened a file against L'Arche and Community Living BC. That's the Crown Corporation that funds L'Arche. L'Arche, by the way, is confining my brother and doing all of this solely on with your tax dollars. They could not survive. They get paid millions or billions of dollars by the government of British Columbia through Community Living BC. So I got an email they have appointed a different lawyer now for Community Living BC. And she wrote me this morning and said that I misspell L'Arche's email address on my complaint to BC Human Rights Tribunal. Now, it would take a child 1 minute. It took me less than a minute to look up L'Arche's email address, which is office@l'archevancouver.org. But she took the time. She didn't pick up a phone and say, what's going on here? What's this complaint about? She did one thing that I learned in law school and as a lawyer. There's a saying, paper insulates. So if you want action, you don't write people, because they can just take that letter and put it over here and never look at it again. So she didn't pick up the phone and talk to me because she might have actually learned something about this miscarriage of justice, the worst miscarriage of justice really in British Columbia history, in my opinion, since the hanging by Judge Begbie of 7 innocent police Indian Native chiefs. This is the worst miscarriage of justice, confining my brother and isolating him against his will, a completely innocent, vulnerable adult, for 354 days. I think her name is Rena Graywall, but they keep on changing the names of the lawyers in the Attorney General's office that they appoint. All of them use paper to insulate. So that's how I spent my morning, dear friends. So as I said, the reasons for judgment are going to be delivered by the judge, Justice Basran, on Wednesday at 9 o'clock at 800 Smythe Street if you want to go. I will be sitting in the gallery as a form of protest because my brother won't be there and he's never been represented by anyone except for me. And I can't represent him because I'm applying to be his committee. So that's how I spent my morning. Thank you so much for everything. And, you know, I don't know what I do. I've been a member of Facebook since October 2009. I've got almost 5,000 Facebook friends and almost 500 followers. Thank you so much for your support, your words of kindness, your prayers, your GoFundMe contributions. At this point, $1,235 have been raised in the GoFundMe for Paul. And I really appreciate that. I know how hard it is to come by a dollar in this day of high taxation and inflation. And please take a moment to write the bureaucrats in the description box for this video. Cut and paste the addresses and cut and paste the email. I put in a draft email, but you can say whatever you want. Because most of the people in the who could make a difference have blocked my email. So I can't write my member of the legislature in BC. I can't write my MP because they blocked my email. But as I said, the BC Human Rights Tribunal is taking this seriously. The Attorney General of BC asked for an adjournment of the mediation. It's only a mediation, and they asked for an adjournment because they're going on vacation. I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding. The mediation is not even going to take place until the end of November. And the first thing that the lawyer for the Attorney General of British Columbia, NDP government, remember that, did was write and ask for an adjournment because she's going on vacation. Thank you so much, everybody. Paul, I'm so sorry I'm not going to be able to visit with you today, but I just went and picked up a huge bag of really good books last night. And I've got so many books where I don't know how we're going to get through them all. I love you so much. I miss you so much. You're the best brother in the world. You're my best pal. And I'm going to see you soon. Bye.